Get more on the fast food wars. We are joined this morning by Tim Fenton, who's the president of the Asia Pac, Africa, and the Middle East for McDonald's. The Golden Arches. Tim, nice to see you once again. You haven't been back for a while. Good morning to you. Let's talk about this, I guess, battle for the hearts and minds and appetites in China, because it is getting stiff in terms of competition.
Well, I don't know if it's getting stiff. I mean, we've been in business there for 20 years now. It's not unlike what we face in 117 different countries. It's a dynamite market. The informal eating out business is growing at a double-digit rate. We are about 165 to 175 new openings this year, and we'll open over 600 over the next 3 years.
Yeah. And McDonald's is increasing their capital investment by 25% in 2010. Correct. Is that right? Yep. So this is the place to wage war if McDonald's is going to do it.
It's the fastest growing market there is in the world. And if you look at Asia Pac, the industry of the informal eating out is about $711 billion. Compare that to the U.S. at 460. Compare that to Europe at 450. They're both flat. Asia Pac is growing at a 5%, and of course China is growing at 10%. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a math equation. But it's a steady growth rate that we look at, and we continue to move forward.
Really, I was looking at the the Bloomberg numbers for McDonald's, and the same-store sales in Asia Pac. This includes China and also the emerging markets, was up 3.4% at the end of December 2009. Pretty good numbers, but Europe actually surpassed same-store sales, up 5.5%. So it looks like Europe, I guess, on a store-by-store basis, might be doing better in the recovery year.
In that year. If you look at China, was a tough year for most of us, particularly in southern China with the economic situation we had there, but has bounced back well for us.
That's really surprising. Didn't Europe have a pretty tough year as well?
Well, if you look at the amount of restaurants we have, how it's skewed, and you can't forget Japan. Japan was a pretty tough market too. If you look at the statistics, unemployment and deflation, Japan had one of its worst years post World War II, and they make up 40% of our sales. But if you look at the past 4 years, Asia Pac has been the fastest growing and has led in almost every category.
Let's talk about deflation. Paul just mentioned that we have a CPI numbers coming in, and we're still seeing deflation persist in Japan. I mean, as a man trying to do business in the economy, doesn't that concern you in terms of your profit margins?
If you followed the results, we had 2 fantastic months starting out. I can talk about Japan since it's a public company. Up double-digit in January, up 9.3%. In February. And if you look at the retail business in Japan, there was only one entity that had a positive comp same-store sales, and that was McDonald's, which is pretty substantial. And that it's a battle for market share in Japan, and we've increased market share every year for the last 5 years.
Just a quick question. I want to look at this operating income number, and we can show a chart of this at the moment as well and see where your operating income is coming from. The red screen here, if we're going to show that, there you go, shows the US accounting for 47% globally of operating income, Europe about 37%. The Asia Pacific region, you've kind of been in this sort of 12 to 15% region for 3 years now. You're not getting that up as a share of global operating income. Why is that?
Actually, we are. If you look back in 2005, the operating income for our area was $335 million.
Right, and it was 8.5%. So you've doubled since then. But for the last 3 years,
and we ended last year at $1.3 billion.
Right.
So it's $687 million in a 4-year period. We started 2009, I believe, at 11%. And ended the year at 13.5%. That's pretty substantial on our size.
So what do you have a target? Do you want to hit 20, 25 or something?
We are growing our income, and it should be because of the growth that we have in new restaurants faster than any other area of the world. Yeah. So we're on a pace of double digit. If you look at the targets we set as a system, 3% sales, 7% income growth. We'll obviously surpass that every year, as the system has.
Okay.
Okay, let's talk about product launches, because recently you guys, McDonald's did in the U.S. introduced the new $1 breakfast menu, which I'm sure a lot of people were pretty happy with, including colleagues here. Let's talk about going forward, though. I mean, you have drinks, $1 shakes or cheaper shakes coming in for a promotion in the summer or something like that along those lines?
Well, the U.S. has done a lot of the last 3 years of $1 drinks, summer drinks, and it's a way to get traffic going in the store. It's a high margin product, and it's also kind of being competitive with some of the convenience stores that they have in the U.S. We've done different things here in Asia, be it our $1 menu or branded affordability, as we call it, or our lunch value specials that we've been doing in most of our countries here.
Yeah, you've actually been slashing prices in China which is, I mean, how much more can you slash
That's not
prices?
so much. Actually, look at the value lunch program we have, which was between 11 and 2, is a successful promotion that we've done throughout Asia. And basically, if you look at lunchtime business is about 35% of our total sales. And with the economy as it was, people can eat breakfast at home, and sometimes most times they can eat dinner at home. But when they're at work, breakfast or lunch is the issue that we really have to fight for. So we've done some specials and been very successful with it throughout Asia, not just in China.
Not just in China. Well, I'll ask the same question that I asked of Fred DeLuca, who's the founder of Subway. They have pretty ambitious plans. They want to open 500 stores in the next 5 years and catch up eventually to the Golden Arches on the mainland. But I talked to him about food quality, of course, guaranteeing, ensuring food quality, and where you source your goods on the mainland. Do you have as much confidence as it seems other people do in terms of finding good quality products in China?
Actually, we have the best in the business. And if you look at some of the issues...
How do you ensure it, though? Well,
we're in 117 different countries. We have multinational suppliers that have worked with us in most of our countries, and we leverage their strengths and their technology and their know-how and bring them in and form local joint ventures. It's something we just can't fool with. Product integrity, food safety. It's the main pillar of what we do business with. Food safety is paramount. If you look at some of the issues that have happened in China, unfortunately, in the last 4 or 5 years, McDonald's has had none. And we're very proud of that. And we know it costs us more to have the supply chain systems that we have.
Now, do you find it surprising that Subway is trying to get into the China market by franchising off their stores? Because that model hasn't really worked in China, let's be honest. That's not the way that Mickey D's is going, or KFC.
Maybe not at this point. We have, I think, out of our 1,150 restaurants, I think we have 6 franchised restaurants. But it's something that we're moving into. Franchising is a backbone of our system and always has been. And we anticipate doing more franchising going forward. Subway's had a good push not only in Asia, but throughout the world. They've had a big push on openings of their restaurants. And good for them.
Good for them. That's right. Now, let me ask you.
Welcome to the table.
Welcome to the table. Let's talk about adding 10,000 jobs in China. That's huge for this year. It's 10,000 on the mainland only. What about the rest of the Asia Pac?
Well, if we'll open about 520 restaurants, and if you look at 80, staff per restaurant, that'll it's just a math equation. We have the most new restaurant growth of any area of the world. So we're over 45% of the new store growth for the McDonald's system is in Asia Pac. That's not just China, it's Japan, it's in the Middle East, it's in Australia, it's in Southeast Asia. Okay,
Tim, before you go, we want to show our audience that these are empty, so I am not gobbling on these Big Macs and these Egg McMuffins, et cetera, not, at least maybe in moderation these days. But Tim, thank you so much for joining us, and you're moving back to Chicago, so hopefully you'll enjoy those long hauls back to the Asia Pac, Africa, and the Middle East. We're talking to Tim Fenton, who's the president of McDonald's for those regions. We're going to break.